Hey guys, Dwayne here. Today I want to talk about validation and why it's important. In a previous video I talked about knowing you're not going crazy and this stuff is real, but I wanted to talk a little bit about validation and how that fits into that and why it's important. And really there's four sources that you're going to get validation from. The first one is going to be from the X. The X is going to do actions that are stereotypical of narcissists or narcissist NPD type folks. They just can't help it. They're going to do it. What will surprise you is whenever your relationship's over and you're basically kind of going through the discard phase, instead of them trying to reel you back in, they are going to just do really weird, mean stuff to you, and it's going to mess with your head. So, and that's the situation I had in mind, and it was actually, I was kind of grateful for it because I didn't understand at the time about narcissism and what was really going on. All I knew was I wanted out of the situation. I didn't want to be in it anymore. I wanted to have the opportunity to be happy myself, right? I mean, I wanted to, I didn't want to live the way I was living anymore, and I said, no, enough is enough. When that happened, oh dear God, things got really weird. The good part about that is every time that I was questioning myself in my situation, something would happen which would validate that I thought something was wrong. It wasn't necessarily validating narcissism because I didn't understand it at the time, but it was validating that something was wrong and I was making the right decision, okay? So, the X is going to be a really nice source of validation for you because of their actions. It's going to hurt, but try to look at it as, yep, that's a reminder. That is it. Now, even if you were the one that was completely discarded and it blindsided you, try to look at it as a positive in the fact that you have an opportunity to get this out of your life. If you have kids, it's harder. But bottom line is, you're not going home to it every day, okay? That was one of the things that helped me get through it is at the end of the day, no matter how bad I felt, I was like, at least I'm not in that environment. I wasn't happy that my kids were in it, but that's a different story. Okay, so you're going to get the validation from actions that the X does. Your next validation source is going to be family and friends. And depending on okay, so there's two things on that I want to mention. And one is, in my situation, I had people who knew something was wrong and could see it, okay? Probably you're going to have a similar situation. But let me tell you this, if you don't, if people are saying that you're making a mistake, okay, no matter what, whether your ex is narcissistic or not, if you were not happy, if you did not feel loved, if you did not feel appreciated or whatever, if the situation didn't feel right and was not making you happy, there was something wrong, okay? And take that as that you're making the right decision. Now, hopefully your family and friends aren't doing that to you, and probably what's happening is they're going to say, yeah, there were some things that didn't make sense, or I didn't really like, I don't know why, you put up with it, but keep in mind, it will take time for them to do that. Most people are not going to want to get in the middle of a relationship breakup and stick their nose in it, typically out of fear that if you guys get back together, then you're going to be like, well, you're a scumbag because you were talking bad about Susie, okay? So friends are going to be, some will talk to you about it, others will be reluctant, but you will over time get validation from family and friends. And as time goes on, it'll probably still happen, especially if you have kids, and then you're going to have people who are mutual acquaintances, primarily because their kids and your kids interact, which means since there's this whole hostage exchange situation, that they're probably going to interact with both of you, because if they're your kids' friends, then you should be trying to encourage them to be able to hang out with their friends. That's just normal. The third source of validation you're going to get, and this one's kind of tough, guys, is it's from your kids. Because what's going to happen is, like in the first one, when the ex was doing stuff to you, the ex will do stuff to your kids that will drive you crazy. Now, again, The good part about it is it's validating what you already know. It's really hard to deal with it with your kids, and I strongly, and I know I've said this before, I strongly encourage you to seek a qualified therapist who has some expertise in this field to help them, because they are going to need it, because it's, well, I mean, we probably all are aware of this, maybe, and probably have experienced this, that whenever you have a narcissistic parent, you still are looking for love and validation and all that stuff from them, and you don't want to believe it, which in some regards is why it may have taken you so long to get to the point where you either tapped the mat and said no, or your narcissistic ex finally decided that you weren't providing the level of supply that they needed, and they found a different source of it. Either way, you were in the situation for a while and thought it was normal. Okay, the fourth area of validation you're going to get will be from professional type folks. And what I mean by that, I mean therapists. That's going to be a little tougher, because they are not really going to be pushing to get in the middle. But as time goes on, more than likely, if something's wrong, there will be little comments that aren't, that don't cross the line, to give you insight that they get what's going on. The second one, therapy is teachers, right? Initially, and I've talked a little about this with teachers, but at some point, a teacher who's dealing with it will probably get fed up and open up to you and tell you some of the situations that they've had to deal with. Don't encourage that, or don't try to go for that. Just take it as somebody who, another source of validation, and take that okay, you've made the right decisions and you're heading down the right path. Okay, so why is validation important? Well, one, it tames your inner critic. It tames that inner voice in your head that says, you're wrong, it's not as bad, you're blowing it out of proportion, maybe this, they're really not that bad, you've fabricated this story in your head just because it makes you feel better, or whatever. Actually, technically, I guess that's a lot of the stuff that did happen to me. So I don't want to downplay it, because I went through a lot of that, especially when I didn't know what I was dealing with. So when I didn't know what I was dealing with and people would give me validation, it did help. It still was painful and it still hurt, but it did help. But as you learn more of this, then that's just like another data point to say, okay, you're on the right path. And on that, it helps you know. I know I've said this before. You know what you know, right? So it helps validate what you know, so that you can just say, okay, yes, I know I'm on the right track. I know what I'm dealing with. I know what to expect. Don't put yourself in a situation to endure more abuse. And then it also provides perspective, because you'll get that feedback from other folks that the ex is doing similar things that they did to you, to other people. And, and it validates the situation, and it gives you perspective that, okay, I'm glad that's out of my life. Okay. Now, one of the things, and I did say this earlier, is you don't seek it out. Don't go to everyone saying they are such a horrible person, because here's the problem with that. You do that, you lose credibility, because one, people don't want to hear it. And two, they're like, okay, well, it's a breakup, so everyone hates each other, so it's normal. So, you don't even really have it sucks, but your perspective or your view on this really doesn't have a lot of credibility. So don't go there. If there's somebody else that I know it's tough. I know it's tough, because you want to say it. You want to say they're bad and they're horrible. And I've fallen in that trap as well. But try to not do it. Don't go there. Let somebody else bring it up. If someone else makes an observation, then that's great. Then one, it's validating for you, and then you can get some different perspective on what's going on. So just let it come. And here's the key on this. And I know this is a reoccurring theme that you've heard from me say, and more than likely you've heard a bunch of other YouTube channels and websites and anything that's talking about this, a narcissist will always reveal themselves. They cannot maintain the illusion. It's, it's not possible. They can't maintain the facade. I don't want to say, well, I mean, okay, basically it's a lie, but there's different phases of this, right? There are some folks who outright lie, and then there's other folks who just try to portray an image. I've had some few comments from folks where they've talked about, their narcissistic ex in parent-teacher meetings and stuff like that, being, oh, I'm so concerned and whatever, and like 2 seconds they're out the door, it's gone. Use that to your advantage. They will reveal themselves in due time. It just happens. They can't maintain the facade. They can't maintain, one, they don't care enough to actually do what they need to do. They can do it to fake it, to try to get people to think that they're normal, but it's a facade. Okay, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about validation and why it's important. I kind of wanted to let you know not to go searching for it, because nothing really good comes from that. Just let it come to you. It'll mean more when that happens. So if you have some comments or some experiences with this yourself and you want to share them, leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you dislike this video, give it a big thumbs down. If you do that, let me know why, because I'd really like to be able to try to fix it. And like I've said before, to make this channel helpful. If you like the channel, please subscribe. We're continuing to, the royal we, me, are continuing, everyone in this room, which would be me, is trying to, build this up as much as possible. And, I hope you guys are doing okay. I mean, this stuff, like I've said before, it totally sucks. It's not a lot of fun. But man, guys, gals, everyone out there, it gets better. You just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other, one day at a time. Learn as much as you can. Build up your toolbox of resources to help you not be manipulated and sucked back in. And, like I said before, it takes a lot of time. It's really annoying how much time it takes, but it takes a lot of time. And just know that it gets better, and know that you'll get better, and that your life will get better, and it just takes time. Okay, so on that, hope you're doing good. I know I always say that. And if you're not, just know that tomorrow can be better. And I will talk to you guys on the next video. Take care. Bye.